Me see myself on YouTube. Okay, awesome. I am live on YouTube. Yes, 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 yes. So we are on there. So if you're watching on YouTube, I'm going to be looking in the comments. So let me know on YouTube if you can hear me, you can see me, etc. I want you to make sure that you're joined in into the conversation. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, awesome. So if you're on YouTube, you can type in the comments. I'm also on the Zoom room in here. So if you see me going back and forth, it's because I am in two places. All right, let's jump in. Good to see everyone that is coming in. If your friends are not in yet, let them know that we have already gotten started. It's not going to take us that long. I'm going to give you some tips. I'm going to give you some practical information on how we can become disciplined in our writing journey, how we can become more focused, and how we can have accountability. I'm going to be teaching from my slideshow. And if you need to watch the replay, I think I'll have it up for like maybe, I don't know, like 24 hours and then take it down because this is some information I share with my class. If you're new here, make sure that you connect with me via this QR code. I'll give you about 10 seconds to go ahead and scan that QR code so that you can be connected to our community. And before we get started, let's pray. Let's pray that you all will be disciplined, you'll be focused, you will continue to be inspired by God to write the book, to write the devotional, to write what God has placed in your heart. If you are going to keep moving, you're going to keep allowing God to inspire you, to build new dreams inside of you. I want you to type some flame emojis in the comments. If you're on YouTube, I'm watching them as well. If you come in agreement with this, that you're going to believe God to continue to give you the motivation, to continue to give you inspiration, to continue to give you ideas, because really we should be getting our inspiration, we should be getting ideas, we should be getting a flow from the Holy Spirit. So I pray that that is your portion in Jesus' name. Amen and amen. All right, I'm going to jump in. If you are new here, I'm not going to go over a long spiel about who I am, but I am Takumbo. People call me Coach Takumbo, and I am a first generation American. I was born in America, born in Maryland, PG County to be specific, and I have roots in Nigeria. And I went to the University of Maryland, where I have a government and politics degree with a minor in rhetoric. And I also went to Teachers College, Columbia University, where I was able to get a leadership master's in public school building leadership, because one of the greatest calls of my life is to help break the inequalities that happen in school systems. And so I'm an educator by profession. I'm an ELA teacher. I've been teaching since 2013. I did a program called Teach for America when God rerouted me and decided to make me a teacher. I wanted to become a lawyer. That's originally why I took those rhetoric classes, but here we are learning more about language because of those rhetoric classes. Some of the fun things I like to do is travel. I've already said that. I was able to go to Nigeria and Ghana this summer. Literally just came back last night and hopped on today. And so I hope that I'm not rusty, that I was able to get some sleep today so I could hop on today. And then this is me. I teach in Atlanta currently. So this is my teacher picture to the right. Our business is called Takuma the Leader, and we help leaders discover their voice, identity, and their purpose. And so I help women to write, publish, and sell their faith-based books. And we do that through the Write Your Book boot camp. So hopefully you're going to get into that tonight. That would be the best thing for you to do if you are if you are interested in continuing the journey. And then we have our Write Your Book Academy, which actually is the Write Your Book Bootcamp is the condensed version, because the academy is actually 3 months long. So I condensed it. We have Entrepreneur School, and I have a publishing company where I've been able to publish multiple books. And if you don't have any of our books, make sure that you get them online. It's on Amazon. Get the How to Dominate in Your Destiny book that actually was on sale for this particular month. That's the book that's on sale. Last month, the Guide for the Prophetic Scribe was on sale. This month, it's How to Dominate in Your Destiny. It is the Publish Now book as well. If you want to learn how practical tools on writing your book, get those books and A Guide for the Prophetic Scribe. These are practical strategies, and How to Dominate Your Destiny is actually a workbook, and it helps you to grow in your leadership capabilities and to really discover what your destiny and your purpose is. because that is part of our mission. So get that on Amazon. So tonight's objectives, like I said, I'm not going to be here that long, but we are going to learn a lot in the condensed version that we're going to be here tonight. You're going to learn about accountability, taking ownership of your time. So when we talk about time management, we're talking about being a good steward of the time that you have in a day. We're talking about consistency, how to keep going, because sometimes we start and we don't finish. We start something and then we don't complete it to the end. We don't follow through on what we said we're going to do. And you're going to have to do that in this season of your life. You're going to have to change your declarations to say that you are a consistent person. You're going to have to look at the root causes of why you have been inconsistent in some of the things that you're called to do. And then we're going to talk about this word that everyone loves to talk about. And I have conflicting feelings when people say, can you pray for me to have discipline? It's really something, it's a decision that you just have to make. It's a decision that you have to just do something when you don't feel like doing it. I don't necessarily feel like being on the camera tonight, but it's something that I already committed to. And I said I was going to be consistent for the latter part of the year when it comes to training those prophetic scribes and training those writers. And so just because your emotions tell you you don't want to do something, it does not mean we listen to those things. And so this is why we are talking about discipline. And this is why I'm going to give you some strategies on how to silence the voice that tells us to be lazy, to be lackadaisical or lackluster about our assignment. All right. So why am I time management obsessed? I actually wrote my first Substack this week, or I actually wrote it last week, but I published it yesterday. And the Substack was about how I got my first C in undergrad. And so when I went to undergrad, it was my first semester and I said, oh, I got a C. But you know what? I had to take accountability. I had to take ownership on why I got a C in that econ class. That class was hard. It was difficult. It was challenging. But what I didn't account for was the change in the season and that high school was not the same as undergrad. And so after I got that C, which I probably should have got a D or something, because I was just not managing my time well. I wanted to have fun. I wanted to go to parties and hang out, but I also wanted to have good grades. And so I had to figure out how to make a sacrifice, or I had to figure out how to become more serious because I wanted to be on the dean's list and I wanted to make straight A's. And so that C actually kicked me in the behind and I started to manage my time better. I started to figure out that, if someone tells me to write, if someone tells me to study for something and my professor says we have a test coming up, guess what? You can't study the night before. Like you cannot study the night before and you're trying to cram in 3 months or 4 months of information and then think that you're going to do well. And so I started to learn how to backtrack and put on my schedule. Okay, I'm having this exam. Okay, I need to study for 3 hours. I need to study for 3 hours for 2 weeks, and I know I'm going to not be overwhelmed. And so I started practicing these things when I actually ended up getting that C in econ my first year. And then this is my first 2 years teaching. I had to become even more developed in my time management and my discipline because I had things I wanted to do. And I realized that the workload of becoming a teacher was even far beyond what I expected. You see my transition here. I go from undergrad, I didn't have a clue about how much discipline and focus I need to have. Then I graduate and I'm like, wow, this is a brand new world. I'm trying to keep up with my praying time. I'm trying to keep up with God. I'm trying to keep up with my life. I'm trying to keep up with these deadlines because if you don't know a public school teacher, we have like a deadline after another deadline after another deadline. And so I had to manage my time better. I had to get focused. I had to lock in. And then lastly, the other thing that I wanted to share with people is because I understand that lots of us, we make a lot of excuses, and including myself, but I realize that the excuses are just something that helps us to delay and it helps us to stay in a state of procrastination. And so I had to learn that procrastination was my own problem and that there was no magical pill that if I didn't feel like doing something, I had to challenge my feelings and say, is what I'm about to do good for my future? Or is it not? Because I need to invest now so that what I want for my future, I'm going to be excited because what you have right now in this current state is because of what you did in times past. It's because of you procrastinating or not procrastinating in times past. So whatever your life looks like now is a result of what you did in the past, not a result of what you just did today, right? We all know that. It's compounding. And so this is actually a picture of me at Columbia. Again, we're looking at my progression here. And in this particular season of my life, I ended up doing a program, and they didn't tell us that we had an internship after we had our summer classes. And I was like, that's great. No one told us that information. And when they told us, like, you should have seen the whole room. It was like silent. They told us we had to do 10 projects. We had to write 10 papers that were 25 pages. I said, are you kidding me? And then I got a prophetic word that I was supposed to write books. And I said, oh, Lord. So when I was in Chicago, I worked for a charter school. I had to do my internship. I decided I was going to write the book because I felt like God was inspiring me to write. And I knew that if I missed that window of opportunity, that I probably was not going to write it again. And so then I had to tighten up my time some more. And I had to do some unusual things. I had to do some quirky things and some things that I just had to do in that particular season so that I could develop the habit and the hunger to write. And I also want to say this here that I actually ended up writing those 25-page papers. Like, I started managing my time so well that I was writing those papers in like I think it was like 1 to 3 days. Like, I wouldn't even give myself more than 7 days to write that paper, honestly. But honestly, I was able to build up that capacity because of what I did in the seasons prior. In undergrad, I had to write multiple papers. And so going to grad school where they were like, oh, it's 25 pages. I was like, oh, this is light work for me because I've been doing this. I've been building up this habit. And this is why I tell people that it only should take you 30 days to finish your book. So I want you to begin to think about it. What is the biggest reason you have not finished your book? I want you to type it in the comments. If you're watching on YouTube, I want you to let me know in the comments so that I can see. I've been doing this for years, so I already know some of the common things. If you're in the room with us here, tell me what are the biggest reasons you have not finished your book? Some common things that I hear people say is that they start and they don't finish. They lost momentum. This is why I tell people that you got to stay in that 30-day window because you will lose momentum. Even myself, I've written like 20 plus books, and not all of them are published because I don't need to publish every single book, but I've written 20 plus. I have some on Amazon. I have about 5 on Amazon. I have multiple digital products. And I know even from my own personality that when I don't write it, or if I don't finish it in those 30 days, I'm just not going to write it. Okay. I'm just like, you know what? I don't want to write it anymore. And that's not a good habit or a good attitude, but it's just the reality. And this is why you got to push through in those 30 days to finish it so that you actually finish what you say you're going to finish. You follow through. You need to find the time. This is what I was telling myself in Chicago when I got that prophetic word. I was like, I don't have time for that. I got an internship to do. Not only did we have to do the internship, we had to do projects with the internship. So we had to do the internship and then you had to do a project. Then you had to write the paper. I was like, this is ridiculous. Okay. But it was God applying pressure to me so that I could be able to learn how to be a good steward of my time. And so at the time I thought it was ridiculous. I was like, no, why did I sign up for this? And I was in too deep, so I had to finish. And I think the professors did that on purpose because they knew if they told us in advance, probably most of us would have been like, oh no, we're not doing this. And maybe you say that you have writer's block. You make that confession. Maybe you are someone that has to overcome being a perfectionist. And I'm a recovering perfectionist. I'm still daily getting delivered for being a perfectionist. Self-doubt, you have worry, you are trying to people please. One of the major things that really disappointed me, or really I felt sad for a lot of people that I was coaching, was that they had a good testimony and they had a good story to share. And guess what? They did not share it because they were afraid of what people were going to say about them if they continued or if they shared this part of their story. And that was really something that almost happened to me when I was writing my first book, the Healing Through Writing workbook. I was wondering, oh, what is my family going to say if I talk about this? You have 30 days. If you are trying to finish your book this summer, I challenge you to finish your book this summer. Our boot camp is challenging you to finish your book this summer. This is something I found online, and it says 50,000 words in 30 days breaks down to just 1,667 words a day, roughly 3 to 4 pages. And for a devotional or nonfiction book, you often need far less than 50K. Why? Because people are not even reading long books anymore. So please don't stress yourself out and say, oh, I got to write this extreme book that's like 30 pages. No, I have my book right here on my table, and it's a guide for the prophetic scribe. And guess what? And this is actually, I think this might be my best-selling book at this point. I need to look because it's between my Bible study journal and this book, but I do a lot of classes with this book, so it makes sense. So this has about 68, 70 pages in the book because the latter part is my encouragement. So 65 to 68 pages in this book. Okay, and people read it, and you know why they read it? Because it's a fast read. It's not something overwhelming, and so they're able to quickly finish it. That's about 667 words a day. One journal entry. You've written more than that in text messages this week. Guess what? A lot of us, we are wasting our writing time. We're wasting our writing depth and our writing capacity on writing these, on just sitting here text messaging or writing random things online. I personally don't even really want to use social media unless I'm building something, or unless I'm like sharing the gospel or sharing something that's going to encourage people, right? And so let's use our energy, let's use the focus and the discipline that we have internally and use it to complete our projects. And so the first session is about accountability. When we talk about accountability, a lot of us like to think, oh, I got to get a person. We need to start with our own self. We need to talk about what is our own personal impediments, what are our own personal obstacles that are hindering us from being strategic or being successful in what it is that God called us to do. I'm going to tell you, quite frankly, because I don't have time, we have a short window here, you are holding yourself back. I don't like when people say, "Oh, I haven't done this because the devil is busy." Oh, I'm going through warfare. And I'm going through this. And yes, we can go through seasons of warfare, but if you've been in warfare for 10 years back to back to back, I don't know about all that. That's a lot. Okay, Jesus was in the wilderness for a short time. It didn't take that long. And so a lot of us need to stop making these faulty confessions, and we just need to take ownership that there's something that we need to deal with internally. And this is actually why we started doing the healing through writing, because I realized that people were not writing because they had something that was blocking them. And so you need to know yourself. Know thyself. Do you overthink? I'm a person that is a recovering overthinker. Okay. I'm daily getting delivered. Pray for me. Keep me in your prayers. Pray in the spirit for me. I need to have it. You worry, you have fear, you have anxiety. Again, you always are thinking, what is someone going to think about me? Oh, what are they going to say? Oh, I don't know if someone's going to buy the book. You are wasting your mental energy on all these things, and your book is not even written, and you're worried about, oh, how can I publish it? Do I have money? Oh, do I have an audience? No, focus on having a product first, and then daily or as little by little throughout your journey, you're going to get more revelation and you're going to get more information. This is my encouragement to you. Again, I'm a recovering perfectionist. Does everything need to be perfect before you start writing? That's not realistic. It's not idealistic. You need to be a person that's like, I'm going to just go for it. I may not know everything, but I'm just going to go for it. And I have a framework in our Write Your Book boot camp that's going to help you with your devotional or your book. And so then you just take my framework, and so it helps you to stop stalling and just write and simply allow the Holy Spirit again to flow through you. Maybe you are being a procrastinator, you're inconsistent, you like to wait at the last minute. And some people, I've done a whole teaching about procrastination, why some of us love to wait at the last minute. Maybe because we love, I couldn't stand when people used to say this confession like, oh, I work better under pressure, I work better, like, okay, fine. But there's some things that you just cannot just keep putting off. Like you can't look up 5 years from now and you had the 2026 summer to finish your devotional or your book and to be like, oh yeah, like now I'm ready. And like it's 10 years later, and some of you're gonna get mad because God may give that book idea to somebody else. And so now you're mad and you're upset because now the book idea is with someone else. And you're like, man, that was my book idea 10 years ago. What you want? You want God's people to wait 10 years for you to actually believe in your dream? You want to wait 10 years? Why are you waiting? It is 2026. We have too many coaches. We have too many programs. We have too many things available to us to be saying, like, oh, we don't have time to write this book. Emotional issues. When I say emotional issues, some of us do have issues with depression or we have heaviness, and that does need to be dealt with because then you're not writing. But then I also want to tell you that because even from my own personal experience, I was able to get lifted when the heaviness to lift off of me because I decided to actually start writing. And so I was processing grief. And when I started writing, the grief and the anger and the emotional baggage I was carrying started to lift. And so I want to encourage you that you being sad, it actually can work for your advantage. It actually is something that even people, researchers talked about, people create better when they're in a state of being in the blue. And so you may actually be missing out on an opportunity to create powerful work because you're too focused, you're too self-focused, you're too consumed with yourself inwardly that you're negating to understand that what you're going to produce and what you're going to share out is going to bring liberation to the people that you're called to. And then some of you have a lack of boundaries. Again, we don't got a lot of time. Let's keep it 100. I'm not about to beat around the bush. All right. You tell people that you're writing the book, and then your family is bothering you 24/7, and you know this is your writing window, and everyone's calling, oh, can you make dinner? Oh, can you do this? And they know it's your writing time. And you say, okay, I'm gonna get up. Oh, I'm gonna write. Oh, excuse me, I'm gonna go get the dinner ready. Oh, I'm gonna go open this. Oh, I'm gonna go talk on the phone. Your friend that has the same problem every single week is calling you every week at the same time, and you think that you haven't focused, but the devil's so busy. How about you don't have any boundaries and you keep picking up the phone when it's your writing time, and you really want the tea anyways? Let's keep it 100. A lot of us be like, oh, the phone. Oh, what happened this week? Oh, what happened this week? And you love to talk. I'm talking to myself because I love to talk. Not really, not right now because because of the teaching season. So I'm always talking. But that was something that historically I just would love to be on the phone, just chatty fatty. And so you have a lack of boundaries. You got to admit it. Like you got to start saying, hey, this is my writing time. And I cannot keep getting on Facebook. I cannot keep getting on Instagram when it's time for me to write. I cannot keep taking these phone calls from you, sis. I know that the boy broke up with you 10, 30 times. Okay, the boy is not mine. Okay, whatever. You got to give up. You got to have boundaries. Consistency. Let's move into, so we're going to figure out what are the things that are impediments. You have to know that for your own self so that you can actually make a plan to counteract those things. This is what I talk about, self accountability. Now let's get into how we can stay consistent, how to start and to keep going. You do need to have accountability, but you have to have accountability that you actually respect. Who is someone that can speak into your life and you will actually listen to them? It's not just words that you mentally assent to and you say, that sounds good. And a lot of us, we love to do this. We're in service and we're like, yes, Pastor, that's good. And we have no idea. We have no actual thought in our mind that we're actually going to change. We just would like to talk and say, who is someone you actually respect? Do you have a voice in your life that you actually respect? There are certain people I have to listen to in this season of my life that are coaching me in one area that I'm not going to listen to another person to because it's going to lead me down the wrong path. And even I got rebuked and got a rebuke this summer because I was trying to listen to like another voice about this, another voice about this. And God was like, I didn't ask you to do that. This is the voice that I've given you in this season to help you. I have a coach for my wealth building community, for my wealth building strategy. And God assigned me two particular people in the community. And those are the coaches that I have to respect, and I have to listen to what they say, listen to their guidance, because there's no point of getting accountability even from friends or from coaches if you don't even respect them, if you're not even going to pick up the phone. Then we have to talk about your pre-writing stage. This is a stage where I cannot stand where people skip this because I've edited people's books throughout the years and I know that they did not pre-write. How do I know this? It's because they have no mission and vision. This is in my Publish Now book on page 8. Get it? I believe Crystal's going to drop the link on here. The Publish Now book. Get that Publish Now book. But that is something that you need to get, and you need to do the pre-writing. In the pre-writing, you're going to identify your mission and your vision. Why is that important? That is important because once you have a mission and a vision for writing this particular book, you are going to have more conviction to actually finish the book and not be like, oh, I'll finish it later. No, because now you see that there's a bigger picture here and it's bigger than you. Then we're going to talk about before you write, this is still part of the pre-writing stage. You have to know who your audience is. Sometimes your book is all over the place or you're not finished because you don't even know the faces of the people that you're called to. And so I want you to be clear about who your audience is for this particular book. You need to have an outline. That is just bottom line. I don't know how people are writing books without an outline. It's quite messy. You've repeated the same thing 30 times because you forgot that in chapter 1, you discussed this. Chapter 2, it said this. And so now chapter 4, you're saying the same thing you said in chapter 2. Why? Because you did not write an outline. And an outline is going to help you to be organized because organization is queen, as I say, because if you don't have organization, your book is just going to be all over the place and it's going to be very difficult for people to navigate. I've literally put down a book. I remember getting a book one time. Somebody just gave it to me. She wrote a book and I literally just put the book down because it was all over the place. Like I didn't want to read it anymore. I was like, and I wasn't even a publisher then. I was an English teacher, so I knew what good writing looks like. And I was like, oh, I have to put this book down. And I've edited people's books that I'm like, I just like this. You didn't write an outline, did you? Because you're saying the same thing 30 times over and over again. You need to have 3 deadlines. One of the reasons why you're not consistent and you don't keep going and you have no follow through is because you have no deadline. Why is it that when we were in school, when our teacher gave us a deadline, we were able to adhere to the deadline. We listened when they gave us a deadline. And some of us now, we rush at work. We're more honorable at work. We're more honorable with other people's projects than we are with our own. We're more honorable with other people's legacies, and you neglect your own legacy and leaving your writing, leaving a legacy in writing. You're more devoted to other people's legacies and you don't even follow through on your own assignments. Doesn't that concern you a little bit? You have to have your own deadline. Now you have to take, again, ownership and accountability. What is the deadline that you know that you have to finish this book? Maybe it's an anniversary of something. You want to take back power of this anniversary. Maybe it's a birthday. Maybe you want to, and this is your 3 deadlines, actually. You have your rough draft deadline. You have your publishing deadline. So when do you want to actually get it published? This is going to help you to become fiscally responsible. Because if you're worried about money, okay, if you know that your publishing is in 6 months, then how about you save $25 a month or however much your program is, or $30 or $100 a month, and you set that aside to publish the book because you know in 6 months you got to publish that book. Let's use practical strategies here. A lot of us, again, I love to pray, but you got to be practical. Let's you have some strategy here, and let's use the things and the tools that God has given us so that we can follow through. Because it's not just, oh, God gave me a prophetic word, and now 10 years later you still don't have a book. 15 years later there's still no book. Why? Then you have to have a release date. When do you want to release it to the public? When do you want people to know about it? And then really, I'm not going to go too much in this. I'm going to talk about this in our boot camp, but you really should have a marketing deadline. You should have a marketing window as well. How are you going to market your book? What's the timeline to market your book? And honestly, all this information is in the Publish Now book. I believe someone's going to drop it. I'll drop it right now in the comments. I hope everyone can hear me because I'm going to drop it in the comments because I want you to actually get that. Because that's going to help you, because a lot of the stuff I'm teaching right now is literally in the Publish Now book. And so you're going to be able to go back and look at those things and say, oh, I can use this framework. I can use this in order for me to be able to do what? To follow through on my assignment. And this is not just something I'm just talking to you about. And I've done this with several people. And so I know that these strategies work and I use it on my own self. So go ahead and make sure that you get that Publish Now book as well, because this is a lot of the stuff that I'm teaching from there. Let me tell you this, and let's get this together, that writer's block is a myth, okay? This is not real. And I know that it's not real because in times past, I thought it was real. And I try to say, oh, no, it's not. How do I know it's not real? All right, I'm going to read this quote to you. Swap the word writer for plumber in any sentence and see if it still makes sense. Plumbers don't get plumber's block. Teachers don't get teacher's block. They show up and do the work, whether they feel inspired or not. Writing is a job like any other. You've got to take your writing seriously. And some of you, I got to prophesy really quickly. This is not part of my notes, but I know that some of you, you don't even understand that you're going to have a actual successful career if you become a serious writer. And I know that maybe people in your family have never written books before. Maybe people in your family or in your circle have never written books before. And maybe this is why you don't see yourself. But I feel like some of you, it's not for everyone, but I feel like if you lock in on your writing gift, you're going to write multiple books that's actually going to be able to sustain you. Do you realize that there are people that actually just write for a living? They don't do anything else. And then they get called to go do podcasts and go do these things. And you're like working 30 hours a day, 30 hours every week, or every, I'm just making up a number. You're stressing yourself out when you could have just written a book one time and multiple people buy that book over and over again. And so I believe that this is for somebody. If you receive it, say, I receive it. But I believe that you're going to have a lucrative career if you lock in and you write out the book, the book that God has placed inside of you. And you're going to have volumes of books because you decided to take your gift seriously. Stop saying, oh, I'm too old, or, oh, I don't know, I'm not too gifted. I want you to type in the comments, I'm looking at you on YouTube, I receive it. If you receive that you are going to be able to write books that is going to help you to receive financially. I've been able to, just even while I'm teaching, I can make money off of my books. All right. And so some of us, we don't believe that, and that's why you're not writing. And someone actually had to give me something similar to that. Like, I didn't want to start writing my book because I was like, oh no, I'm a middle school teacher. Like, I'm a middle school English teacher. I don't really have time for that. Like, and if it's not going to be a big deal, I don't really want to write it. And so I was holding my own self back. How do we overcome this block? Why I say writer's block is not real is because there's often times where I've experienced where I don't feel like writing. Again, this is not a feeling. And I agree with you, Ayana, about this as well, since you're the only person I see that said receive it. And if you're on YouTube, write it as well. So I come in agreement with you. And I believe God is going to show you volumes of books. And I believe that you will have a series of books and that you will continually write one after the other, one after the other. I believe there's a scripture in Amos 9 that talks about one after the other. It's in the Message version. You won't be able to keep up. Is just going to swim, a flood of information is going to inundate you with great book ideas in Jesus' name. Amen. All right. Overcoming the block. How I know that you can overcome it is because I used to be like, oh, I have writer's block, or oh, I don't feel like writing. And then I found out something. I found out that I'm a prophetic scribe. And if I'm a prophetic scribe, that means I always have ideas because the Holy Spirit lives in me. And then I just started writing stuff and I just started flowing. And I realized that I could just clean it up later, that maybe when I got stuck on a particular part of my outline, when I got stuck in those parts, guess what I decided to do? I decided just to keep pushing forward. And then later on, if something did not fit in that area, I would copy and paste it and put it on a separate document. And then all of a sudden it will fit into another part because I didn't throw away everything. You see what I did there? And so I just started writing. And then I realized, oh, this chapter is going to be good. Or I would add to my outline. Because I'll tell you another secret here, that your outline is a living document. You don't have to just stick to it just because you wrote it. And then something you could simply do is just take a short break. So sometimes we do get overwhelmed. And honestly, I take a break from, if I'm in a big writing project, I got to take a break. Like I have to take a break. And so what's going to help you is that you're going to take the break, and then you're going to come back, and I say short break, heavy on the short break. You're not going to take 30 days. All right. You're not about to take 100 years. You are going to take a short break. What's a short break? 2 hours, 1 day. That's a short break. I'll give you 2 days, 48 hours, but really no. Especially if you're in the window of the 30 days. Absolutely not. So 2 days should be your max. Discipline for writers. This is a lot of stuff here. And this is stuff that I actually practically do. So number one, deadline. Again, you have to have a finish date, a publishing date, and a release date. And I told you a bonus here is you really should have a marketing date. Time blocking. You need to write for 2-hour time blocks. I've gotten so good at this because, again, I've practiced. It's out of practice. I'm not boasting about anything. It's just a simple practice, a daily, it's a habit that I can write for 3. I've tried to push myself to 3-4 hours because I've already done the 2 hours. So I'm always trying to challenge myself mentally, physically. Anyways, I need to challenge myself physically more, but mentally I'm trying to challenge myself, because if I could do 2, that means I could do 3. Because if we could watch a movie that's 2 hours, if we could sit online on Facebook for 2 hours, 3 hours, couldn't we do the same thing with our writing? All right. And so challenge yourself, push through. What I used to do is all-nighters. And so in our a couple of our boot camps, a couple of our academies, we've actually had all-nighters where people had to stay up all night to finish their book. Okay. It was mandatory. And I used to do this when I was a senior in college. I started doing this because I actually got really good at writing so quickly that I would write 25 pages in one night. And so that's actually when I did start doing things the day before, because I knew that I could. I practiced the skill set, and for some reason I just knew I could do it, and I did it. And so it works. I was able to write 25 pages in one night. I had to lock in. I had to close everything. No one could talk to me. My phone was off. We were in the library. I was with friends. I was with accountability that were on the same time as me. You need to schedule it. Put it on your calendar. I'm going to show you a mock calendar that I'm going to challenge you to do in your own life. And if you're part of our school, I'll talk about this more, our boot camp. See it on your Google Calendar. If you don't use Google Calendar, whatever calendar that you use, put it on there. And you put a reminder that, oh, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, these are my writing times from 7 to 9 p.m. Nobody should disturb me. And guess what? You shouldn't even disturb your own self. Because there are seasons, and I didn't say that particular season where I had to do that internship, I had no life. So don't get it twisted. Don't think that I was out here like, oh, I'm going to this dinner, I'm going to this brunch. No, it was actually pretty terrible. But I knew that it was just for a season, and I knew that I wasn't going to be locked up in my apartment all my life. And so we don't think of things like just being a season. And so there are times where you're just not going to be able to go out. You're just not going to be able to. I wasn't able to do extra things that I wanted to do. Like you can't apply your eyelashes on that morning because you have to lock in. There was things I had to do. I had to start wearing black and white to work. I had to buy a uniform because I couldn't waste any of my mental space, of my mental energy trying to figure out what to wear because it was a waste of my time. So I literally was buying clothes from Banana Republic and I bought like several white button-up shirts, some black bottoms, blazers, and that's it because I knew that if I woke up late, I knew that if I didn't set out clothes, that I will always look professional for work and I was not wasting any of my time, any of my energy, any of my focus. I wasn't being distracted on what I was going to wear. And you don't understand why that's actually a big deal for someone like me. I'm a person that is into fashion. I love clothes. But that season, guys, like that, I didn't ask you to be. You're not. It's not a fashionista time. This is a lock in and get your work done. I didn't look terrible because again, I bought quality clothes, but I knew that if I woke up at any given time, and if I was even if I was disorganized that day, I wouldn't be disorganized in my look. Writing retreat, change your environment. Go on a writer's retreat with yourself. Lock yourself in a hotel. Go to the library. Oh my gosh, you don't even want to know what I did this summer. Like before I went to Africa, I had to do several different projects before leaving. And so I remember one day I was at the library. I thought my friend was going to meet me there. She didn't. But I was in the library from 12 to 6 working on something. And I think I took like, I don't even know if I took a break. But I took like maybe one break. I can't even really tell you. But I was locked in. I said, you are not leaving this library till this gets finished. And then I did it the second time. And I was like, you're not leaving this library till this gets finished. And I just tell myself that. And I just say, I'm a lock in. There's like, even when I built out the website for the Write Your Book Boot Camp, I did not leave that library till that website was finished. Okay. I was like, I'm not leaving until this gets done. Accountability, get in the community with other writers, get a coach, tell your close family and friends. I see that there's some people in here where I'm actually there, I've been their coach, whether it be leadership or writing. And so they've invested in themselves. You need to invest in yourself. Discipline for writers. I'm not going to go too detail into this because we mostly talk about this in my courses, but I just felt generous today to share this because I usually don't share this. But this is like a mock schedule that I tell people when I first started doing this. I forgot where, like if I was in Chicago or something, when I used to teach in Chicago, but I started making a schedule for my life because I had to stay organized. I had too many things to do. And so on the top here, I color coded it. You could do your own schedule. I use Excel to do this. You could do it however you want. It's not a living document. But I don't know how people just let life happen to them. I have to create a daily schedule. Every season of my life, there's a new schedule. If I want to write 3 times a week, you see that in red. If I want to exercise 4 times a week, and if I want to do self-care, and if I want to do my Bible study, all right? And so I had to map out, okay, this is when I'm going to do this. This is when I'm going to do this. And I was very strict actually at that time because I had the internship. I had too many things to do. This is just a mock thing. So this person wants to write 3 times a week and they were able to actually put on here 5 times a week just in case that you don't get through to the 3 times. So sometimes you will do that where you just add it multiple times so that you could be like, okay, if I miss it this time, don't worry, on Tuesday I have something. So from 7 to 9, this person has devoted themselves to writing on Monday, on Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and then on Saturday morning, because that's when the person feels best to write. You have to ask yourself these questions. When is the best time for you to write? I love waking up early in the morning and I have this fresh energy and I just start writing. Like, I'm ready to do all the projects. If it's 8 o'clock at night, please don't talk to me. Like, it's like I'm only on this webinar late at night because I realize that a lot of the people on our email list, they like late classes. I don't, but because I get my best work done in the morning. And so as a writer, you have to know thyself. When do you do the best work? When do you have more energy? When do you feel more inspired? And then I'm going to talk about getting in the writing mood, right? Because someone was like, oh, I don't feel like writing. And then we have to stop saying stuff like that. Stop making that declaration. How you're going to get in the writing mood, how I set up my all-nighters or even my project all-nighters is that you have to create a playlist of your favorite instrumentals or your soaking music. Get a bunch of because actually, let me go back to the music. The music actually helps me stay focused. Like I have even a weirder thing where I will play the same song over and over and over and over and over and over again. And I can't tell you why that helps me stay focused. Maybe I should do some more research, but I just do because my mind is not thinking like, oh, I got to call this person. Oh, I got to do this. No, my mind is thinking about the lyrics and I'm just like, I'm typing, I'm writing, I'm creating, and I'm just singing the song. I'm singing the song and I'm just staying focused. And my mind is not going to, oh, I got to get on Facebook. Oh, I got to get on TikTok. Oh, I got to get on this. And matter of fact, some of us need to just delete the apps from our phone. Sometimes when I spend too much time online, I just delete the app, period. Because it's just like, I'm not even getting my work done. Delete it, period. Put your phone, I didn't even write this, but I'm just flowing now. Put your phone on airplane mode. Like if you know that you get distracted from text messages, just put your phone on airplane mode. If you know that you get distracted, me, I get distracted from Gmail because I love to check my email. Okay. I don't know if it's a teacher in me. I just love to know everything that's happening in my inbox. I got like 6 email addresses, y'all. And I'll be on top of every email. And I'm like, it's ridiculous. So I had to like delete the app. Who had to delete Gmail? Who does that? But if you are obsessed with it, then you have to. I know some people that actually will not check text messages until a certain time of the day, and I love that. So I don't get that many text messages in a day, so I don't have to do all that. But finding the best, or excuse me, get a bunch of your favorite snacks, your favorite drinks. If you have teas, you have coffee, cocoa packs. I am a coffee person. I'm a caffeine person. I don't know if the teacher life got me indoctrinated. I don't know, because I don't remember why I started liking coffee, because I really don't. I drink it black, so it's not even, I don't drink it because I love the taste. I drink it because I just feel like I get all this energy and I feel like this warmness in my body. I'm like, I'm ready to work. And I do it every morning. I'm like, please, children, don't talk to me until I drink this coffee, okay? And then we can talk. We can get to work. And so my first period and second period probably get the most energy out of me. And then you're gonna find the best clean and comfy spot in your home. Get it with a blanket, good lights, and great candles to write. Like you should get some good scents around you. Make yourself feel really nice. Get an organized space so that your mind is not all over the place. And maybe you want to write with your friends. Maybe that gives you motivation to write with your friends. We covered a lot here, and I didn't realize I was going to cover all this information. But if you want to watch the replay, I think I'll just have it up for maybe until tomorrow. I don't know. I actually, a fun fact, we have to go back to work tomorrow. So don't be like, oh, these teachers are on summer break all day. No, I don't even know how it was actually the earliest we've ever had to be to school. So I have to go early tomorrow morning back to school. So you may be able to watch that while I'm there. What we covered: accountability, taking ownership of my time, consistency, how to keep going. You need discipline. I talked about practical habits to increase your productivity. These are practical things that you just need to adopt in your life. So I want you to type in the comments, or I want you to just say to yourself, if you're on YouTube, let me know, do you believe that you can write your next book or devotional in 30 days or less? I literally gave you some tips. It used to be that I tell people to write their book in 90 days, but I'm like, just write it in 30 days and get it over with. Just get it done this summer. Like, just get it done. Type that's me if you have a great, or say that's me to yourself. Like, I have a great devotional idea or a book idea. I have started my book or devotional and then I never finished. Maybe that's you. You can write, you want to write, self publish, and market a devotional or book that impacts real readers. You need structure, guidance, and accountability to finish, because I know that a lot of you that are listening to me right now, it's not that you don't have good ideas, it's that you don't have any structure, guidance, or accountability. You have brilliant ideas, in fact. You have genius ideas because God gave you those ideas. But then now it's your responsibility to steward the idea. Again, we love to be like, oh, I got a prophetic word, and we're just waiting on God to do it instead of asking God for a strategy, or asking God for who can be in my corner. Who do I need to help me? Every season, we need some type of mentor or coach. I told you I have my own coach this summer, excuse me, this year rather. And I have two coaches actually, and they've been helping me on my journey. And so you got to figure out who is your coach. And I hope that this will be the summer that I get to be your coach, and afterwards too. You've been serving in ministry for years. I want you to join our Write Your Book boot camp. I want you to go to our website, takumatheleader.com. We actually are starting on Monday. We're locking in this Monday. You have two options. You can be a general or VIP student. So if you're going to be a general student, I'll let you know what's in it. But this is for you if you're a speaker, you're a teacher, and you're a coach, and you want to have an edge as a presenter. I don't know why a lot of us want to go to these speaking engagements and then you don't have anything afterwards, because really they say a book is like your business card at this point. And people, there's some people that just want more from you. There's even conferences that I can attest to that I've been to where I ended up buying this particular speaker. I think it was Dr. Carolyn Leaf, right? Because she has a career and she also is a author. And I like I bought a bunch of books that day from her because I was so impressed by her speech. I was so impressed by what she presented. So you have to think about your own brand. You have to think about your own legacy. After you're done teaching, preaching, speaking, whatever you do, because if you're here, you do those things. I know that's why you're here, because why would you need to be here on a Wednesday night? But you need to have a book. You need to have a devotional. You need to have something. Confidence. You want to improve your writing skills and be a confident writer. One thing that I specialize in is making sure that you have the encouragement and the strategy to grow your confidence. Once you have a strategy and you have guidance and accountability, you become more confident. Think about the times where you were struggling in a particular subject and you had a teacher or a coach, a mentor help you, and your confidence grew, and now you're successful in that particular area. The same thing goes with writing. I had writing tutors even in undergrad. I would go to tutoring, and it's so funny because they would actually be wondering why I was there. And they're like, this is perfectly fine. And I'm like, no, I want to get better. Like, this is fine. And so through that, I was able to grow as a confident writer because even I had tutors. And so like, you just need, if that's what you need to grow in, you just need to have somebody in your corner. Acceleration. You don't want to sleep on your potential any longer. You've been like waiting for years to finish. Excellence. You want to create excellent work. So you want to work with a writing coach with 12 plus years of experience. You want a template to follow and create the rest of your books. When I say multiple, like you just take my template, you take my strategy, and we're going to drop the links in the comments for you to go ahead and join us so that you can join us this Monday. So Crystal's going to drop the links for the VIP, the payment plan, or if you just want to do the full payment, because you actually save quite a bit of money if you do the full payment, or if you just want to be a general student. We have a flash show that's happening as I'm talking live to you. You have multiple books inside of you, so you need a framework to publish these books. And I talked about making passive income. Books are not that expensive, so more people probably will buy your book, right? Because they're not that expensive. And so you don't realize that even $10, multiple $10 actually equates to a lot if you're consistent, right? And so I want you to think about that, about how you are going to be able to create a legacy and be strategic about your finances when it comes to publishing this book. All right, you have the gift, you have the story, now you need the structure. So we have 3 things. I'm going to give you the teaching. You're going to watch the videos, and in the videos, you're going to learn the 2 strategies. You're either going to do the the book, or you're going to do the devotional. You get to choose over the next 30 days which one you're going to lock in on. I'm going to give you some proven framework, some worksheets, and a checklist. I'm going to give you accountability. What we're doing this year that's different than any other year, because this is the year that we've changed it, where I want you to watch the videos on your own, because all of my students say that they've learned a lot just by watching the videos. And then you come to class and you do the you come to class and you have accountability where you're going to write out the work. You're going to write in class. And so you're going to have me with you, and you're going to be able to ask me questions. And if you're experiencing writer's block, which again is a myth, you're going to ask me questions while you're writing. And so the goal is that you have to finish the book this summer. Like, that's the goal. We're not about to just keep talking about the book, praying about the book, fasting about the book, talking about the book, prophesying about the book. We are going to write the book. Number 1, you're going to pre-write. You're going to unlock your idea. You're going to unlock your blueprint. And this is actually for devotionals or the books. And you're going to unlock your creativity. So I'm going over the 3 major stages. And actually, if you do the sale, if you get it right now while I'm talking, I actually dropped the general to $97. And so if Crystal can fix that on YouTube and on here, I dropped it to $97 only while I'm live. After I get off the camera, it's going back to $147. And so go ahead and get that while I'm talking live to you, because I'm gonna push it back up. But it's $97 if you're doing general. I want you to do VIP actually, and if you do the full VIP, I dropped it $50, so you get a bonus with that. And so if you're doing VIP, you're going to get all the coaching sessions. You're going to get the deluxe workbook for the Unlock Your Devotional workbook. And then you're going to get a replay for 1 year. And you're also going to get the private VIP community, where I'm going to give you access to message me, and I'm going to be able to answer your questions over the next 4 weeks. And you're going to be in a group with other people that are talented. And so if they have answers or they have any input, they'll be able to share that. And what's different this year about our VIP experience is that I'm going to do a manuscript critique. And what that is, and I don't do this in any academy, but this particular boot camp I am, because we're condensing it. I'm going to read 3 devotionals, or I'm going to read 3 entries in your devotional, or I'm going to read the first 15 pages of your book, and I'm going to give you feedback in written form if you're VIP only. I typically actually never do that. I charge extra for that, but I decided to do that in the VIP community. And then if you're in VIP, you actually get 2 bonus coaching weeks. And so you're not only going to do the 4 live coaching sessions, we're going to talk about self-publishing, and I want you to publish your own book by yourself. Like, I have a publishing company, but I'm also giving you the tea on how to publish your own book. And I've had multiple people publish their own book. And then I'm going to give you some tips on marketing, because what I'm finding out is a lot of people, especially believers, I had to say it, all our community, we don't really market well, or we think like, oh, we're doing self exaltation, or oh, I'm promoting myself. No, you got to do your work. Like, there are people that have millions of followers and they do work too. They got to do their own work. And so you're going to be responsible to have to market your book. You have to have a strategy. So it's not, oh, you're being boastful. No, you got it. Do you want to eat? Do you want to pay for stuff? Do you want your ministry to keep going? You need money for your ministry to keep going. Let's stop trying to be pious here. All right. This is for you if you're a faith-filled leader, minister, pastor, teacher, or prophetic scribe. You've been serving for years, carrying a message for years, and it's time to write it down. You started your devotional or your book and you never finished. You need a coach, a deadline. Our deadline is actually at the end of August 17th. You want to finish or publish and get your devotional into the hands of God, of the people God intended it for. And you do better with accountability and community around you. This is not for you if you're looking for someone to write it for you. You're not committed to showing up, because when we come to class, we are writing in class. You literally have to be typing. You're not going to be in a webinar like this. We're going to see each other face to face, and we're going to start typing out the book. So you're not going to be looking at a blank page. It is mandatory, because this is actually not even good for my business. It's not even good for my brand if you don't write. So I have a personal commitment for you you have to write. You're not ready to be held accountable to a deadline. This is not for you if you don't want accountability. I can't work with you. You want to learn about writing without actually writing. You got to write. This is for you if you want to actually write. We're going to look at some testimonials here, because we have been doing this for years. We have people that have published their books. And these particular writers that you're seeing, the couple of them you're going to see, they have multiple. They have multiple. I believe classes at 7:30 on 7:30 Eastern time is what I put online. So 7:30, so that we can at least have some good hours to write. And so we'll be live. And then if you're VIP, you will have access for a year. But the class writing sessions start at 7:30, and we'll be there for a while. So if you have to jump in late, jump in late. But you have to be in class. This is where you start typing. Because what I found out is that, like, I was talking a lot in a lot of my sessions, and people were like, wow, this is a lot of information. And I realized that they could have just watched that and I could have condensed it for them. And then they come to class and they're just ready to start writing. And so thank you, Crystal. And so that is what you are responsible to do when you get to class. All right, let's look at these videos.
Hello, my name is Lisa Davis Wall, and I am the author of The Unflattering Sweater, which was published by TTL Publishing. My journey with them did not begin there, however. I started out as a student in the Writers Academy and was able to produce a manuscript within 90 days. After that, it was time for publishing, and I entered into their process, and they came alongside me and walked me through every single step, navigating all of the things I would not have known how to do until my dream and everything that I saw in my head was in my hands. So if you are a prophetic scribe and you feel a call to write, please take advantage of what TTL Publishing has to offer, from the writing school to the publishing process, and now through Entrepreneur School, where they will help you develop your brand. I hope you take advantage of that opportunity. And remember, you're dearly loved.
So Miss Lisa, actually, she's friends with me on Facebook. I saw that she actually produced a 3rd book. And so I gave her a framework, and she's been publishing like back to back every year. I think she took a year off from last year, but she's been publishing since I met her. And she just took my framework, and she wrote a book. She wrote a devotional, and I believe she was writing something else. I think this is a regular book, but it's actually a series. And we were able to start that series through our Write Your Book Academy, now our Write Your Book Boot Camp. So this stuff works, and I have people that have produced multiple books. The next person here is another multiple author, has produced her book, her workbook, and now she's actually moving on to her children's book.
Hello, my name is Julissa Shipman and I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. I'm also part of the 2021 spring cohort of the Write Your Book Academy. So in 2019, I decided to start the process of writing my own book, and I realized that I needed a lot more help than I anticipated. I needed coaching and guidance. I needed accountability. I needed to tighten up on my writing skills, and I needed structure. And so this writing academy provided me with all of those things and so much more. And I was able to do it alongside people that were writing their book for the first time as well. I'm so excited because I wrote my book less than 90 days. And I feel more confident that I pushed past the fear of writing my first book. And I believe that I strongly believe that I don't think I would have done that if it wasn't for this academy. And so I encourage you to join because it is an opportune time for you to leave your legacy through writing. And I also believe that you have a lot of stuff that people need to hear. And I believe that lives will be transformed when you write this book and when they read your book in the future. And so I encourage you to do it. Join the academy. Yeah.
And then the last person we're going to look at, she actually ended up self-publishing her book using the strategies that we taught her. And so you'll even hear the relief because she finally was able to birth that book.
Karen Stewart here from North Carolina. I just wanted to take a minute to tell you what I gained from the Write Your Book Academy. And I just wanted to share a little bit about the experience of what it feels like after you have actually published your book. So the tools that I gained from Takumba's Academy was the information and the direction I needed to not only complete my manuscript, but to get the book out there. And those were very big hindrances for me before her class because I didn't have the information, and I would get stuck and not move forward with the process because I couldn't answer the questions. At Write Your Book Academy literally walks you step by step through the.
All right. So she had a long testimony, so I shortened it there, but she was able to self-publish her book. And so make sure that you jump in. We have fruit, we have testimonials. Go to Amazon. If you even search my name, you'll even see their books attached because a lot of them, we ended up publishing their books. And so they were able to get me to edit their books as well. And it was faster to do so because they had a framework. And so it was actually organized. And I was super proud of every person that you see on here and even the ones that you don't see on here. And this one in particular is Not Just a Man's World. I love her testimonial because this is actually a devotional journal that she ended up writing and from the strategies we gave her. And I love this because every time her parents see me when I go to North Carolina, her parents are always wanting to talk to me and they're like so happy that she was able to publish a book. And her book was very she shared all of her testimony and she put it out there. Even though it was a lot of information, it was just very vulnerable and transparent. And so I want you to make sure that you jump in tonight. Actually, while I'm talking, if you do regular, you're going to get my Unlock Your Devotional Workbook for free. You don't really get that unless you're a VIP, but I'm going to give it to the general people as well. If you sign up while I'm live, and it's actually $97 while I'm live. After it's the price is going to go back to the regular price. We do launch on Monday, so we're just going to jump in and get started. There's no time to waste. We have 4 weeks that we need to complete this book. It is our summer cohort. We're not doing another cohort besides this cohort this summer. And so if you want to finish your book this summer, I suggest that you get into our cohort now. The links were dropped. If you want to do the VIP full payment, remember that's the only one that's going to get the manuscript critique is the VIP individuals. And this is the one where you're going to get access for a year. If you do regular, you will get access to the recordings for 30 days. So no worries. You will have access to it afterwards for 30 days. And I just typically don't even want it to be that long. Why? Because we want you to finish the book in 30 days. So we don't want people to be like, I got another year, I got some more time. No, you need to finish. You need to just finish. All right. We got to stop delaying. We got to stop procrastinating. And if you want to do, and actually you're going to get a discount with that, and you're going to get a bonus of our Unlock Your Workbook recording so that you can understand how to write a book, a devotional, and how to write a workbook. So if you do VIP, you will get access on that. I'm working on a screenplay. Could I join even if it's a different format? Yes, because you know what? I'm thinking about how there's so many different books that turn into screenplays. You realize that, right? And so even me, I'm like believing God that one day someone will take one of my books and turn it into something that we could see on the TV. And also it's going to just help you with the development of your writing skills, writing habits, and really, and I think that would be a good time to even take accountability during our writing sessions just to finish those particular things that you want to get off your chest. We used to do Prophetic Scribe Hub where people could just write whatever it is that's on their heart, but I'm being more intentional about this particular class. So join in and let me see if there are any other questions. If you're thinking about it, let me see on YouTube if you have any questions. Thank you for your question. And then, yeah, because lots of books they do get on the big screen, or even I'm thinking about people that want to have plays, right? My students were able to read a lot of different books that actually ended up becoming what they were plays. And so we read them in class as literature. And so thinking about that and like thinking about putting the Raisin in the Sun is something that we have to, is part of my curriculum almost every year that I teach. And so I realized that watching the TV show and then even the movie and then watching it in the book or reading it in the book is actually really good for the student. So I'm actually trying to think about like how we can continue to move forward in that. I'm even thinking like I did some VR when I was in Ghana. I did some virtual like games. And so you do realize that that's even like another step too. Like once you finally pump out this book, let's start thinking about the VR. So thank you for that question because I'm even thinking ahead. Let's start again. Audiobooks is not even something new, but that's something that's more accessible or easier for people to digest is that particular audiobook. As lots of people have just got my Guide for the Prophetic Scribe audiobook because it's easier for them just to listen. When I'm in traffic, unfortunately, pray for me, y'all. Like I'm just like not interested in being in traffic tomorrow. But when I'm in like, I'm sitting down doing my commute, I'm listening to an audiobook. And so let's think about, I love how she's thinking, like, let's think about getting multiple ways to get our work out there, multiple modes of communication. So and take over the mountain of media. Many of you are called to take over the mountain of media, and God is, and let me say this too. You don't have to do something that's just Christianese, like, oh, you just talk about, the blood of Jesus, the blood of Jesus. There's a way to talk and to be you're spirit filled already. And so you don't have to speak Christianese to your audience because maybe that's too much for someone to digest. They don't understand, the blood, that's too much for them to digest. And so you have to figure out a way to talk to people, still be a believer and talk to people and pull in that audience. Maybe you're called to just speaking to believers, then fine. Then obviously you could flow from that angle. But there has to be a way that we take over the mountain of media and stop allowing people or allowing the world to take over movies, to take over TV shows, to take over audiobooks and VR. And we are not getting our information out there. Even as a middle school educator, I'm seeing a lot of stuff where it's like just nonsense literature. And a lot of us love to complain like, oh, the devil's so busy. If he's so busy, why are you not busy doing work, the kingdom work? You get busy doing kingdom work. How about that? Join today while I'm live. The full payment is $50 off. The payment plan is only 2 payments. The payment plan will be over by, I believe, Friday. So get it now. Does my book, and also the 97 general session is actually only a price now while I'm live. After I click off of here, it's going to revert back to, I'm going to put it at 147, but it's going to revert to that. So if I was you, I would just get it at this price because that was actually very generous of me to do that. So please just get it at that price before I change it. Does my book or devotional need to be long? No, 30 to 50 pages or less on Word document. I am horrible at grammar and punctuation. Should I join? Yes, we teach writing skills, plus all of us need editors. You should not stop writing because you don't have grammar skills. I'm concerned about being disciplined. Should I join? Yes. We just did a whole time management. We give you time management tips and teaching on discipline. And if you're joining us, I'm going to put this particular video I'm going to put it into our group as well. And so you'll be able to rewatch this because I'm going to take this down. We give you time management tips and teaching on discipline. I honestly fear writing. Your coach, me. Hi. I'm going to boost your confidence and you're going to grow in community. Will people buy my book? Maybe you're concerned about that. If you're in VIP, because VIP only is what we're going to talk about the marketing, we're going to give you a strategy to market your book, to actually sell your book. Because even my audience is not that big yet. And I've had multiple people buy my books. The last workshop we had, people from Canada were in there. They bought the book. Like I've seen people from I saw a person buy my book from Australia. And in my mind, I was like, who knows me from Australia? And I'm like, that's interesting because we are discounting just being consistent and growing and developing our voice. Maybe that's what you're supposed to be doing as you write. You're supposed to take ownership and to learn more about what you sound like so that you can leave your idiosyncrasies, or you can leave an indelible impression into the earth realm. And so I want you to think about that, about how you're just growing even as a speaker, because if you can write, you can obviously speak. All right. And so I want you to think about that. Write your book. It's one investment for acceleration. Like, this is your investment in your education. We've had multiple students, they've been able to sell their books at our particular conferences, our workshops. I don't do conferences. I do workshops because we're not conferencing about anything. Do your work. Every time you see me, it's time to do work. Okay. Like, that's why some of my students, they can't stand coming to my class, because you're not going to come to my class and we're watching TV. We are working. So even in the boot camp, we are working. I'm not talking. You should have watched the video before you came. We're working. Obviously, I'm going to coach you on some extra things that I feel like you should know. And if you get stuck in anywhere, I'm going to be on the camera with you. I'm going to be able to help you to get out of that place. I've been doing this for years. And so I kind of know exactly what people go through. And I'm able just to give you the strategy, and you hurry up and just finish this book. All right. We have, these are some of my former students on here with their published books. Why do you need a coach? You need a coach for acceleration. Again, you've started, stopped, didn't finish. So you need acceleration. This is it's summertime. Let's finish the book this summer. You want to save time and your money. I've met so many people, and even like I have friends that are, I have another friend who's a writing coach, and she's a publisher, and she actually had a writing coach as well. I told you I had writing tutors. And so you are able to save time and money, because I'm going to tell you what you should do, how you should self-publish the book if you're in VIP, what you should do so that you don't overspend, so that you don't waste your time, you don't waste your money. And I've seen people where they waste money and they get upset and then they don't write anymore. And then I meet them and they tell me this sad story. And I'm like, I'm sorry that happened to you. But let's get a coach now so that you don't even waste money or time on things that you don't need to waste time on. And honestly, if you do what you're supposed to do in the academy and in the boot camp, again, I'm not making any 100% promises, but you should be able to make money, because it's dependent upon how much work you are going to put in. Because again, I've said it multiple times, and this is why I'm even a good example for this. Even when I had 400 Instagram followers, I still was making money. I did my first Write Your Book boot camp, academy, and that launch made $10,000. Why? Because I knew my audience. I knew what I was supposed to be focused on. Don't you want an extra amount of money? Don't you want to make money while you're sleeping? You need to just take ownership of your own brand, your own legacy, your own writing gift, and stop saying, "Oh God, I need money, I need money, I need money." He's giving you a gift, and you're not even using your gift. And this is how you're going to get strategy and structure. And I'm going to tell you this. You only need to come one time and you've learned my strategy. And I'm actually giving you two strategies. So really, it actually should cost more than this. I'm giving you my book strategy and my devotional strategy. And you have the framework and you don't come back again. And that's why Miss Lisa is writing she published a third book, because she just used my strategy and repeated it over and over and over again. If you can't attend, purchase your digital workbook online. Go to takumatheleader.com. We'll drop it in the comments. And that's about it for us. We're done here. Let me see if I'm going to stand back for some questions. I'll pray us out. If you're not coming to the class and you just want to learn how to write your devotional, get the devotional workbook. If you want to learn how to write your book, get the Publish Now workbook. If you're a VIP, you're automatically going to get that devotional workbook. If you are buying the regular session right now, you're automatically going to get that. I'm going to drop it here because I didn't put it on the list. So I'm going to get it from my website. Go to my website, takumatheleader.com, to learn more about it. But honestly, we're going to have fun. We start on Monday, so there's nothing to delay or nothing to second guess yourself. We start this Monday. Like, I have other students that are in it, so we have to start on Monday. It's mandatory to start on Monday. So we're starting on Monday. So we're going to lock in for it's 4 weeks. It's 4 weeks. Okay. It's 4 weeks. Like, let's just get the book done in 4 weeks. Let's lock in and get it done. All right. I'm going to put specifically where the link is if you just want to get the book. But if you join the boot camp, you automatically get the book. If you're a regular session, you're not going to get it unless you sign up tonight. It's really only for VIP. But if you sign up right now while I'm live, while I'm talking, I'm going to send it to you. All right. If there's no questions or concerns, we're going to drop my social media links as well. Let me stand back a few minutes because I know that sometimes people get questions afterwards. I'll give you about like 4 minutes to see if you have any more questions. And also, too, again, once I hop off of here, those bonuses and those discounts will no longer exist. Once I hop off, the price is going to change. So make sure that you get it while we have it at this price. Let me see. Yes, mostly follow our YouTube because I'm trying my best to post more content. Obviously, I had to take a break because I was overseas visiting my family, so I had to do that and enjoy my time of rest. This is the only summer cohort we are hosting. This will also be the lowest price this bootcamp will ever be. And join us at takumatheleader.com. So this will be the lowest price that you will ever see this bootcamp. And we will not be hosting another summer bootcamp as well. You're so welcome. Let me see if there's any other concerns. Again, I'll give us about 3 more minutes. I'm going to hang out a little bit just to see if anyone has any other questions or concerns. Invest in your educational journey. This is your investment to grow in your writing gift. All right. I don't see any questions or concerns. I don't see any. Let me see on YouTube. I'm going to pray us out. And if you do have any on YouTube while it's still up, I will see if I can comment back to you on there. We just thank you. We praise you, God. We invite you into our writing journey. We thank you for giving us brilliant ideas, genius ideas. And we thank you for enabling us to see the deadlines that you have before us. Thank you for giving us great partnerships, and thank you for partnering us with the right people, the right companies, the right coaches, the right mentors. And thank you for allowing our mind to be focused and to have peace. Yes, we thank you because your word says in Isaiah 26:3 that you're keeping him. You're going to keep him in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on you because he trusts in you. And so I declare great peace and grace over your mind. And I declare that his grace is sufficient for you to finish your book. In Jesus' name, amen. You have 30 days. Let's lock in. I'm out of here. See you all in the Write Your Book boot camp. All right. Have a good rest of your night. I'm going to leave a legacy in writing with y'all later. Love you like a leader. Have a good rest of your night. Goodbye.